Hello and welcome to another edition of Alberta Solar Pioneers. My name is Dejan Ristic. I'm the oil and gas solar guy. I have here with me in our home studio Susan, who just went solar today, and of course my assistant Josef. So welcome, Susan. How are you today?
I'm great. We just had our solar panels installed today, and it's a great feeling to be up and running.
Amazing. Congratulations. So tell us, what are you noticing that's happening in the market? Like I said, let's light the people's hair on fire. Like, what is going on with electricity prices?
Well, we had already planned on getting solar, but I think one of the big things that convinced me just in the last few weeks and that was we got a notice of our equal monthly payment plan for our gas and our electric. It came up, our plan went from $121 a month to $172 a month. And I was kind of mad because we just heard the government was going to give us the $50 a month credit, and they just took it. So when I'm looking at the bigger picture and the long term, we know for a fact that the prices of electricity are going up all around the world, and this is going to save us in the long term. And when we are looking at retirement in just a few years, this is going to help us keep our pension money in our pockets instead of giving it to the power providers.
So let me get this straight. So your budget bill for power used to be $121. They just sent you a notice that effective essentially next month, you're going to be paying $173.
Yeah.
With no, like, you're locked in, you're on a locked in contract, but they can still do that. They can increase your budget by pretty much, call it 40% higher.
Exactly. And
that takes my head for a spin pretty much.
Well, it really got me upset too. Like I said, it was like they just came in and took away the bonus that we're getting from the government. So it's not a bonus. It's just going straight from our hand to the provider. So, you know, and how can we get around that? Well, by getting our own system, by generating our power here, and you know, working, you know, through them on our grid instead of having to buy our power continually.
So when you were starting to consider, I know you have family members who have solar, but when you were starting to consider, were there any qualms in your mind as to the reliability of performance? We've heard a lot of people say, look, solar just doesn't work in Alberta. What's your feedback on that?
Oh, I would tend to disagree. This is one of the sunniest places in Canada. We have approximately, just the facts. 328 days a year of sunshine. So when you look at that, that beats just about anywhere else in Canada. We're right up there with the southern states. So, and they're great areas for generating solar power. You only have to look at what's going on. Like Brooks is almost totally solar power ran, the whole town. And they're setting up solar fields in more and more areas, not just, you know, down south, but all around Calgary. I just was driving in an area in southeast Calgary, and they're setting up a solar field there. So, you know, it just goes to show and if it's smart for business, it's obviously smart for us as well.
So if I was your friend or your coworker at work and I said, look, my power bill is going up and it's hurting my budget, but I'm not really feeling that great about solar, what would you tell me? Like, how would you sort of explain it to me? Like, if you were to just explain it in simple terms for an average consumer who's considering saving money on electricity, like, what's the catch? Isn't there a catch? Isn't there a big upfront cost? I just don't have the money. Like, what would you tell me?
Well, right now the government's offering interest-free loans, so that's a huge opportunity to get in on the program and take advantage. Solar in itself has gone a long way. You no longer need to have batteries, and those were what was a huge cost, and also the disposal of them was a big issue. Now you can be set up on the grid, and you can, you know, get power credits and use those credits in the times when you're not generating. But even now for us, when we look at with the loan, virtually what it's doing is guaranteeing what we pay for our power for the next 10 years at interest free.
They won't go up.
It does not go up. Once that loan is paid for, we no longer have that payment. All we'll have is just the residual fees that, you know, distribution and transmission fees that normally come with this, and we'll keep our bill still down to nothing.
But even the distribution and transmission fees, if you're having lower energy use.
That's right.
Yeah.
It all. If you look at the facts, the picture is just the only way to go. I mean, you have to, look at that, and they're looking at all these ways. How can you save on pollution and everything else? This is the way to go.
So I'd like to cover 2 more topics and then have a little bit of an open discussion and then sort of bring it in for a close. But basically, number 1 is, how did the install go? Like, what does it look like? Did you have a power interruption? What's happening now? How does that all look? And then the second question is, what was your life like before solar, and what is your life like now? Now, you just barely got solar today, but still, I think it's still a fair question.
Well, the install went really smoothly. We actually needed an extra breaker on our system,
Okay.
and so that he had to run out and get that. But there was only about a 10-minute power outage, 20-minute power outage max today when he was working, and he changed a bunch of stuff around, more due to the...
He had to install the breaker.
They had
Otherwise,
to install
there
the
wouldn't
breaker.
be a power outage.
That's right. It was very smooth. Everything went really well. We have dogs, so of course there was some barking going on during the day, but
Okay.
due to the noise on the roof, but actually it was quite minimal otherwise.
How about the drilling?
There was drilling.
There was drilling. It wasn't too bad, though. It was
Nope.
kind of medium.
No, I didn't find it was overly loud, only because my dogs were barking. That's what
You were able
kind
to
of
work
set me
today at
off.
home.
I worked from home today.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and I was in meetings and everything else, and everything went quite smoothly. So
Okay.
that you have to expect some noise. I mean, I do want it attached properly to my ceiling or my
Absolutely.
roof. Yeah, I don't want it to be the other way. But they've cleaned up after themselves. Everything is I took pictures during the day, so I've got that to show my family, and the progress and everything. And I'm looking forward to seeing our first bill. We can already see with the app that we can see that they're already generating solar energy. We're just not using it yet because we haven't been inspected and hooked up. So, but we can see that it's working. So that's a really good feeling. And like I said, I'm looking forward to what our next bill will look like.
So now that you've made the switch, what is your life like now? Like, do you feel like it's a different sort of stage in your life? Like, is there anything that you can relay as to, what's the benefits of, like, how do you actually feel? What's your mindset now that you have solar on the roof?
Well, I think we just made a positive step to help keep our finances in check when we're retired, and that we now are also part of the green movement, so to speak. Like, this is not just for us, but for our kids and for our grandchildren. That this is a very green move. And down the road, if we want to look at adding more panels if we need to, or if we decide to get a electric car, those types of things, then we'll be able to do that.
Let me ask you a cheeky question. Let's say 3 years from now, Direct Energy's budget plan is $373. And they come to your door and they ask you, hey, let us remove the panels for free, and we'll lock in that $373 for 50 years, and you won't ever have to pay $373. Sorry, you won't ever have to pay more than $373 even, or even we'll charge you $373, but every once in a while we're still going to increase it. We're going to take off the panels for free, and we're going to just keep charging you more and more over time.
I hope that just defeats the purpose, because
Exactly, it's a silly question, but that really illustrates what people who don't go solar nowadays are experiencing down the road.
The bills are only gonna go up. We know that, and they're doing and we've seen it already. Like I said, the government announced a rebate of $50 a month up to $300 in 6 months, and no sooner did I get that I'm getting an increase in my bill of over that. So really, it's now negligible. I've gotten no benefit out of that. So this way I'm controlling what I'm paying. And like I said, it's the loan. I mean, if you can pay cash up front, your bill will be down to almost nothing right off the bat.
Right.
But with the interest-free loan,
with you're not paying hardly any cash. And what's your monthly cost going to be?
We're going to be paying $153 for our system for the next 10 years. And then it's going to drop down, not go up.
And that 153 includes the grant, or that's before the grant is applied?
Before the grant.
Oh, okay, so then
So if
the
I had
grant's
the
going to
grant,
make it
it would
lower.
be $111 a month.
Oh, okay, but the grant is pretty much part of the package. So
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, it'll drop it down to 111, and yeah, that's already less than what I was paying before it went up the 50 some odd dollars more a month. So yeah, so it's definitely making sense to go the way we're going.
It's telling me low battery, so it's still working though. Looks like it. So
Okay, we're gonna hit the other red button. Now.
So basically, yeah, it looks like we're still live.
There we go.
So any last thoughts, Susan? Like final thoughts, as in for this video?
No, I think we were a little anxious with the wait for our loan to be approved so that we could get started. But once the loan was approved, everything went smoothly. Getting our permits, getting everything in action, and within 2 weeks we're up and running. So
how many hours of work do you feel like you've invested? Like, let's say just sort of like the simplest version of, like, maybe there was some stuff that you might have done that maybe wasn't truly sort of the critical part or whatever. Like, I know you had certain things that happened even before the solar project happened, just some evaluations that happened, so there was some time there. But let's say from the beginning of starting the process, like, how many hours do you feel like you personally spent on the whole thing? Or was it arduous, or was it pretty simple?
I think it was pretty simple. It's knowing all the steps. Like, we had to get, a company in to do a energy inspection. And, so I had to make sure I was home working that day so that, they could come in. And that takes a half day. So, you had to be home for that. And
open the door and stuff like that.
Yeah, and you have to be here while they're here. So
yeah, might as well.
That's what they expect. But once you've got that done and you've done your applications and stuff on the computer and upload all your receipts and all the different paperwork. So, and the first step was getting the Greener Homes grant. That was I think that took approximately 2 weeks.
So in terms of your physical time on the phone or having to sort of do anything that, that's the only thing you're doing, you can't multitask, would it be more than 5 hours, more than 10 hours, less than 10 hours?
I'd say probably close to 9 or 10 hours total.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Everything, yes.
Got it, okay.
And it's not all at once.
Right.
But knowing the steps really helps, knowing what you have to do in what order. And then having patience when it comes to, if you do apply for the loan, having the patience to wait, because they went from having a 10-day turnaround to having a 1-month turnaround. So, that's quite a difference in time.
For the loan application.
That's right, for them.
Yeah, because they had a floodgate open up.
Yes. Everybody is getting on the bandwagon, and while there is funds to help support that, and it's a great thing. So,
well, thank you so much for your help spread the good word.
Thank you.
Yes. All right, camera.